Is individuals that claim to or do have hyperglycemia, is that intertwined in this too, the
Mhm.
sugars?
Yep.
How is
Yeah,
that?
so yeah, that's a great question. And so there's also what we call prediabetes. And so that's more so your people who will have hyperglycemia, meaning high blood sugar levels, but they don't necessarily have the diagnosis or to meet the cutoff level the way we diagnose it of diabetes. So they're in the pre-diabetes range. But with pre-diabetes, it's an early sign that you're already starting to develop that insulin resistance. So your insulin's already not working that great, not optimal, which is why your blood sugars are starting to bump up higher and be higher than they should be. But it's just not at that level of full diabetes. But studies show in the science literature that you have a 50% chance of developing type 2 diabetes over 10 years if you do have prediabetes. So prediabetes is actually the
Wow.
perfect time to really, take it very seriously and say, okay, I'm going to do things differently here and get it under control.
Wow, so interesting. Yeah, I actually started to I don't know if I was hyperglycemic or not, but I would get, like, mad if I hadn't eaten,
Mm,
like I can't even speak because
mhm,
all I can do is think about food. Like, I will not say anything to you. I can't think about
mhm.
anything or do anything until I get food. And that's more so, like, self-induced because if I do say something, it's not gonna be nice. So my whole
Gotcha.
life, I had some
Snickers.
really bad yeah, I had some really bad
Yeah.
repercussions with just, like, lashing out, and I just learned as I've gotten older to just not say anything because nothing I say is gonna be nice. But what I did
Mhm.
is I started fasting
Mm,
and started to really control and take my power back, I guess, over
mhm.
my food intake. And I did some really drastic fasting probably last year, and now I've kinda set into a more of a rhythm of,
Mhm.
longer amounts of time without food, and it has helped
Right.
so tremendously, like, almost
Mhm.
it's gone almost with
Yeah.
my ups and downs of my sugar.
Mhm. Yeah, and fasting is one way that can be helpful for some people because, like you said, it can help to kind of reel in some of that constant thought of oh,
Yeah,
I'm hungry, or you may not even be hungry, but that constant food noise. And so fasting can help to reel that in. Fasting can help to stabilize blood sugars for some people because it's by you only eating in that certain time frame, your body's not kind of bouncing around with sugar high and jumping up and down all day long because you're eating at different sporadic times of the day versus concentrating it in and balancing it. So yeah, fasting can
yeah.
be helpful.
There was a huge change in everything. And one of the biggest eye openers that I had is just how much people think about food or I think about food. It's like I'm sitting working and then I'm thinking about eating, but I'm like, I don't want to eat right now because I'm working, but I'm still thinking about it. Then I'm like, well, what's over there? What's in the pantry? What's in the refrigerator? What could I possibly make? All that time. Then
Mhm.
finally I'm really hungry. So I go and then I look and all the time to look and then prepare and then figure it out and then cook it and then the dishes and then the 3 times a day. It's
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
half the day is just spent either
Right.
thinking about food, making the food, cleaning the food, or eating. Oh my
Yeah, yeah.
god.
And a couple of things with that. I'm glad you brought that out because sometimes, we'll be thinking about food, but one of the things with individuals who I actually coach with health coaching is we talk about, well, what's the other side of that? So what's really going on, at those times where you feel like you're thinking about food? Is it because you're actually bored? Is it because you're tired? Is it because, you're feeling stressed because you might have, had a whole lot going on that day? And so, looking at those other maybe contributors or factors that maybe playing a part into that, to where then it just leads your mind into planning that next meal. So looking at those factors. And then the other coin to that is that, that is a real thing for some individuals. And that's where a lot of the newer weight loss medications, have come into play too, because they've helped people to, I had a client tell me it's quieted that food noise that was just always in their brain too, with some of the weight loss medication. So it's two
Wow.
coins to it, but yeah, it's definitely a real thing people
Very, very
experience.
cool.